This is the Daily Divide. Okay, so I've got 4 things on our order of business. We've got the Health Service Infrastructure Plan, the IREX, and Luxon trips abroad that have been happening recently, including the kerfuffle with, well, I call it the kerfuffle, in South Korea. I digress. There was an article that was released about that, quote, Shane Rishi's office admits chart used to justify a 1.4 billion health cuts does not exist. So the chart that is being referred to is the 14-layer health chart between CEO and patient. Now, obviously, what it's revealed that doesn't exist, and the chart is actually. I'll give you a. Do you want me to share the screen so you can have a look? It's chief of staff, blah 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 blah, and then including the patient. So obviously that was just. It looks when it was released to the press, it was very obvious that they just cobbled together a bunch of people and went, right, this is it. What actually is the case is that they've pulled that proverbially up their ass. Now, they've also sacked the board. That was also in my video. Be sure to have a look at it, as well as the other thing, as well as the Hawke's Bay Māori wards and all that fun stuff.
Frozen. Yeah. So basically, I'll let you finish.
Let me finish, man. God, you need to let me speak, okay? You know, that's the whole problem here. You need to let me speak.
Don't start on me, man. Don't start on me.
I'm gonna speak now. Regardless, sorry. So I'll just finish my thought. Sorry, I'm going all over the place. That's my whole personality. It was 14 job titles. It included the patient and the CEO. It was supposed to be everything in between the CEO and patient. They lied. Secondly, there has been no proof to suggest whether or not that there was no justification for the $1.4 billion health cuts. As I've sent you the article as a quote as a proof. I'm trying to find the word for it, but I can't because I'm thinking on thing. Anyway, so it's ridiculous, and not only that, they've sacked the board with a new put in a new commissioner, Lester Levy, which in instance does not give the board doesn't need to release their minutes, if you know what that is. So there's no transparency there. I'm going to hand it off to you because I'm hosting. I was just giving you a bit of context as to why I chose this topic. On to you.
Yeah. Now, what's the question? What are you asking me?
What are your thoughts? Because this came out yesterday, and we didn't really have enough time to speak to talk about it. Obviously, you know, the health system, you know, the board being sacked came in right when National came into office. But this revelation, and of course also the 14-layer health BS, didn't get enough press as I think it should have, because that was absurd. But it's now been concretely revealed that, you know, just right, have at it. But
okay, so
no one's going to care. But
so you're asking me. So basically, you're saying there's no justification.
What it looks like, there is no justification for the 1.4 billion cuts, and they're not giving any proof. So even if there is proof, which I'm sure there could be, they're not really bothering. They're just going, right, we know what we want. We know what we believe we know what we want for you. That's not the saying, but again, my brain's haywire today. It's a Sunday.
Well, you would know all about that because, you know, you're a lefty and that, so that's exactly what they do.
Okay.
Just saying, just a little bit of a cut, but let me address what you're saying. Sorry about that. Sorry, just my brain was going all over the place. Had to get my.
But yeah, I just want to know what your thoughts are.
Well, I think, you know, you're right. The health system's bugged. You know, there needs to be some attention put on it. Like for me personally, I've got health insurance, so it's a bit easier on me to if I need the doctor or I need something. I don't know if it's supposed to work like that, but it seems to be easier for me. But someone who has to, you know, rely on the public system, you know, it's very hard.
I mean, there are scenarios in clinics. Oh, sorry. This is the problem. Carry on.
And just while we're on Prostate Cancer Awareness Month, so we'll just address that. I think that's something very important. I have donated money towards that this month, so I think that's a good cause, and I think people should. I think other people should do it because it's a very important issue in New Zealand and abroad. But yeah, the health system just needs to be completely overhauled. But that's not to say that those $1.4 billion in cuts weren't necessary. I think the cuts are necessary across the board. I think maybe they should have cut, had spending cuts in other places in the government. I think, there has to be some sacrifices, but, you're sort of seeing the ramifications of that now and it's been like that for years. It's not exclusive to this government, the health crisis in this country. It's been going on for years.
It's been a slow decline, yeah. But
and
I think we can all agree that it's all. I mean, you're getting strains people waiting at 7 a.m. early in the morning, more than when I wake up. Can't imagine it. Strain, waiting until getting checked at probably midday around 1 p.m. This is happening all over the country, and you're getting such scenarios, especially in the West Coast and other places, where they have to cut their where they don't even have a doctor, they don't have a nurse, they don't have anyone, and they're resorting to, or they're going to rather resort to, telehealth or whatever it's called. It's basically you get diagnosed via camera, which okay. But so this is, and of course, yeah, this has been a problem. I think this has been a slow decline. The issue here that I'm kind of presenting is that they're not really showing anything. They're not really giving any trust to the New Zealand public to go, right, this is the proof as why we made the cuts. Because not only have they made cuts, that's resulted into hiring freezing. And a lot of that blame is being put onto Health New Zealand, but the problem is they're not really getting the funding. That's the issue there. And there's now a hire freeze. I could be wrong. But it is continuing to the right now. So I agree that yes, it has been a slow decline, but it's been very obvious is that Nationals kind of reinforced this decline to the max.
Yes, but the problem is they have to get money from somewhere because there's no money. There's no money anywhere. I disagree with how they've done it, but
right. But they've not.
You have to just let me finish. They have to get the money from somewhere.
Yeah.
The previous government blown money left, right, and centre, and a lot of the stuff didn't get finished. Spent lots of money. National Act and New Zealand First, the coalition as a whole, in my view, is trying. It's I'm not going to pretend like I know how to run a government or even say
you don't
that,
know things. For shame.
Well, you know what I'm saying. So basically, the thing is they're obviously doing their best. They have a lot of issues that they have to address at the same time. So, in the state of the books that was inherited from the Labor government, that did nothing with their supermajority except throw money against the wall. And
okay. So you're not really getting to my point there.
So basically,
you're not really getting to my point.
Basically, what I'm saying. Well, the point is they have to take the money out of somewhere to actually right the ship, so to speak.
Yeah, look, I get your point, but there's a difference between, righting the ship and then full-blown austerity measures. Irregardless, the whole point of this article and the whole point that I brought it up is they're not really giving any proof as to why they're making the cut. It could be for a good reason, but they're not really bothering. So much so they've cobbled together a 14-layer management list that is completely meaningless and includes the patient. And of course, that was completely BS. You good?
Sorry. Yeah, no, I just went a bit leery there. It's fixed now.
Okay.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. here's the thing, right? Is maybe they're not giving, whatever you're saying, they're not giving a reason. But I'm pretty sure, to me anyway, personally, the reason's pretty clear. The economy's buggered. They need to get the money from somewhere.
But isn't like Health New Zealand is like the healthcare service is the worst thing to make cuts from? Wouldn't you agree? Like I said, it's
I agree. I agree. But as well as so if they didn't take it from health, where would they take it from?
Anywhere but health. Well, not anywhere but health, of course. Not the education service. You're not going to privatize that. But
exactly.
You know what I mean.
So like if they made more cuts to education instead of health, then education's going to be in the same situation as what health system is. And furthermore,
stop,
if
Mr.
they
President.
took it out of the police force, right, or
hey, privatize the police force. Who cares? Private police force. We're not going to save your robbery unless you give us $1,000.
Know what I mean? If they take more money out of there, then law enforcement's got the same issue. So I think you're saying they're not giving much of a explanation, but they'd be in the same situation no matter where they took the money from. There would still be these people that are going, "Oh, you've taken it out of there, and we've got issues."
You're not getting to my point, though, right? They're not giving any proof that they think they know better than us, and they're not really giving us anything. And it's been revealed here that it looks like they lied to us by making the cuts. It looks like they didn't necessarily need to make the cuts, and it was revealed by Nicola Willis. I'm blanking on who I was thinking on. I think it was Q&A or Breakfast Show. I'm thinking Q&A. There was an interview with Jack Tame with Nicola Willis, and she said it was projected that we would be out of surplus by 2030, and what their cuts are going to bring them back, get us back into surplus in 2 years. Look at the damage that's being made to these cuts, right? Would you say, this is a different topic, but I just wanted to make this a caveat, and then I think we'll move on after this. Wouldn't you say that these cuts overall, because we're going to get to infrastructure, we're going to get to our IREX as well. Wouldn't you say these cuts, if it gets us back into surplus 2 years earlier, that's 2028. 2028. 2 years. And all the damage that is being made, all the cuts, IREX, all that fun stuff. Is that worth it? Just a question to you.
Well,
I'm not going to argue it.
Well,
just want to finish it off.
Well, you're talking about, right, you're saying if we do the cuts, we're going to be 2 years back in surplus, right? In my view, yes, I think that's worth it because two more years is 2 more years, right? So 2 more years is 2 more years and then rebuild, and that's what I believe. That's what they're trying to do. They're never going to make everybody happy, and I know they're never going to make you happy because
if they nationalize all services and doesn't mean I was gonna.
Well, yeah, well, see, a communist stuff like that,
I'm not a socialist, by the way. I just like saying that because every right wing goes, communist. Shane Jones can go.
He's a good man. He's a good man. That guy.
We
can agree to disagree.
Okay,
let's move on.
Okay, so yeah, don't forget to comment your thoughts. We're going to set up a poll on this. We would love to hear your thoughts. All about the Daily Divide is about hearing your thoughts and about discussion about two different sides of the aisle, and knowing that we can all have a discussion and not kill each other and not turn into the United States of America.
Awesome.
We all love this country. Anyway. Let's move on. So the next, it links to our previous weekly update. It's the infrastructure plan. So that's the part, obviously not, we did the road user tax in the last podcast. and this is now the new infrastructure plan that was announced 2 weeks ago. But I think that there's more information on it now, and I've kind of honed in my thoughts. I'm not sure about you, but for me, I've honed in my thoughts about what I think about the infrastructure plan. Of course, I think we made a video on the Kiwi update this week on it, pretty much not really dissecting it, but more explaining what it is. Again, it should be I'll put a card on it. Be sure to watch that after watching this, of course. So it's $32 billion. 17 roads of significance, highways, state highways that are in focus, and $6.4 billion of that is being invested into public transport. Not a lot. Now, the problem that I have, well, there's so many problems. I've had time to marinate on this on this thought, and I will make my thoughts known. Of course, we've got the IREX. That, spoiler, none of that funding is going into any of the ferries. What does that look like for the next term? I'll hand it over to you because we've made our thoughts about privatization of infrastructure. This doesn't talk about privatization of infrastructure, but I will carry that on. I want to hear your thoughts on this. I've given you the what are your thoughts on the new national infrastructure bill?
But I think the thing is like, okay, they're putting more money into the roads. Good idea, brilliant. We need more money in the roads so people can get around. Hopefully they fix the potholes. Still a big issue. Be brilliant. You know, we need good roads. Otherwise, people can't get anywhere. You know what I mean? So, good. That's good. I absolutely 100% back them on that. To public transport, well, you know,
what can you do? You know,
well,
lower
the
income
thing
people
is,
that can't afford paying for fuel have to get around to public transport. What can you do? You know, we just don't have enough money.
the thing is,
Go ahead.
the thing is all right. Public transport for big cities. Okay, we got no where I live, no public transport anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Right, at all. So you just live with it, and it's doable. Okay, as much as you want to have a whinge about it, and oh, we need public transport and all that. Public transport's great, but I think roads are more important at this time.
Okay.
It's my thoughts. So yeah, do with that what you will.
I don't like jabbing, but that's what I thought you would say. But I'm when I
I
first
mean, I can
looked.
give you a solid right hook if you want.
Anyway, so what I thought, my initial thoughts was, okay, of course we need investment into road infrastructure specifically. We definitely do.
It's absolutely, yeah.
Irregardless of my opinions of public transport, especially you know, you got places like Hawke's Bay where every other year there's a huge storm and their roads get absolutely effed. There needs to be a plan where our economy, especially local economy in specific regions, can keep chugging on. So that does need to happen. There needs to be huge investments into infrastructure broadly across the board, rather. What is interesting to me is the fact that my issue is, of course, is with they're ignoring alternative, and this is what a lot of critics are saying. Watch the video if you don't want to read articles. It's perfectly summarizes the story. But the
Okay.
issue that I have with it is it's completely ignoring other alternative transport ideas that are for population centers, for local population for high population centers, rather, cities, Auckland, Wellington, Christchurch
Okay.
specifically. They ignore, so cycling and public transport they're ignoring. Yes, they're investing investing, quote unquote. They're putting in around $6 billion, but overall down the line, it seems very vindicative to me that they're ignoring specifically
Yeah.
cycling and local transport
Okay.
in the
Here's
name
my thing.
of in the car. I'll finish my
Mhm.
last thought. Overall, it will be cheaper. In the short term, no, we have to create the infrastructure, so it's not going to be cheaper. Long term, which is past Nationals, probably two terms that they're going to have, I'm already accepted it because for various reasons
I hope they have
cycling
like
through.
5 or 6.
So down, it will be overall economically. It will be better for New Zealand.
Okay,
It's
so
really disappointing.
when you talk
Not
about
surprising.
overall or alternative ways of transport, you're talking about buses and trains, shit like that, right?
Yeah, and cycling.
Trains, yes, I agree. Trains, yes, yeah, cycling. Yeah, who the hell wants to cycle when pissing down rain? But yes, I understand that.
I
But
don't like
the
cycling
thing
either,
is,
but it's an alternative transportation method that is actually kind
okay,
of
but the
green.
thing is,
You know?
the thing is,
Yeah.
oh shit,
Yeah.
yes, yeah, yes. Leave that up to you to say stuff like that. But the thing is right. If we get more buses or whatever the hell, buses
Sorry.
especially,
I do want to
buses especially. La 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 la.
carry on.
Sit there and listen for a second. Buses especially, right? They need roads to drive on. So they can go and
What?
buy
I thought they could drive in
millions
dirt.
of dollars in buses.
God, we were going to make
So
dirt roads.
this
The
is
Green
what I'm
Party was going to
saying.
make dirt roads. God, fucking damn it.
Yeah,
God.
yeah, well, yeah, they probably would.
God.
But the thing is what I'm saying is they need to invest this money into the roads because you can say public transport and cry public
These are
transport and
state
cycling
highways.
all you like, right?
No, sorry.
It
Sorry,
doesn't
Lennox, I've got to
doesn't matter. It
interrupt you there.
doesn't matter.
These are state
It doesn't
highways.
matter.
When is a bus ever going to drive? It's not you know not the multi-city, because that doesn't count. I'm not counting that because that is not public transport. That's private stuff. That doesn't affect public transport at all because those are councils. Those roads, roads. But carry on.
The thing is,
So you're
the thing
wrong.
is no, I'm not wrong because the thing is you're saying going into the future. If you think that it's not going to happen in the future where they're going to have buses on the state highways all the time, if you get what you want, then you're wrong. They will absolutely that will absolutely happen because
No,
if you're
understand.
investing all that money into public transport like buses and stuff, you might say that the intercity ones are private, which technically yes they are, but it's still public transport
How
because
many people use? Also, I just want to say, what the hell is your point on? Well, that's
the
what you
point
want
is
because you want public transport on state highways. If you get your way, that's not my point, right?
no. The
Literally,
thing
you
is,
said
the
I
thing
said
is,
trains.
the thing is,
When
right?
have I ever said, oh, I want a local bus to
No,
go from
no, no.
Hawke to Napier
Maybe
to
you haven't
Wellington?
said that, but
No,
maybe you haven't said
how
that. But
absurd.
that's going to be the effect if the Green Party or whoever you
What
get
do you mean? What do you mean an
your
effect?
funny ideas off, it will be the effect if they spend all that money on public transport, right? Say they spent half as much, they took half as much out of the roads and put it into public transport. They are not just going to spend it on around the cities. They're going to make it accessible to everybody. So then there's going to be more buses on state highways, so then people can get around more. So here's the thing: they need the roads, so then that can happen. So if you get what you want, which maybe you get what you want someday, you need the roads. Full stop.
Okay.
I'm sure you'll be able to work it out. But
No,
the
it's
thing
just it's
is,
playing with my head, my little brain. It just
well,
doesn't think. Okay,
it
I just
seems to be. It seems to be. But the thing is, right? You need the roads for the buses. Okay. You need. I agree with you. There needs to be a bit more money put into rail, but at the end of the day,
God, you're just like Winston
we need
Peters.
the roads. We need the roads. 100% need the
Are
roads.
you his son? Are you his long lost estranged son? Anyway, um, look, I don't know what you got, the message you got from me. I literally said at the start that a huge package of investment into state highways is very much needed. Definitely. I absolutely
Absolutely.
say that. Yes.
Absolutely.
But it's just really weird and really weird coming from Simeon Brown that is so obsessed with the idea of cycleways and wanting to get rid of them. It's almost as if It's almost as if he got hit by a bike when he was really really young, and that was his villain arc, going up to being minister and going, oh, these cyclists, God, just sitting. It's just he's sitting in the couch, sitting on the sofa, watching TV with a drink, and he's just crushed it when he sees a bike. He's like, oh, God damn those fucking cyclists.
I think
Like,
cycleways are a waste of money, so
and
that's probably where he gets it from.
And like I say, it's very indicative to who this segment was cut out last podcast because it was way too long. But it's very indicative that this transport budget invests in mostly state highways. Oh, absolutely, 32 billion. Yes, yes, please. But it's very indicative that when you invest only about 6 billion into local public transport to who you really care about, because traditionally you're going to get a lot more lower income people going to public transport because they're only traditionally going to go from work home within the city. Traditionally, of course, you're going to have your holidays. Hopefully, if you've got enough money, in this aging economy.
Here's the thing. That's the
But
problem.
that's my problem
That's
with
the
it, right?
problem. There is no money.
Right. I mean, that goes to another example as to why you're spending so much money
So,
into roads. Then,
so the thing is, okay. So
if there's no
can I
money,
ask you a question, right? Can I ask you a question?
yeah.
And I'll ask it to
No,
you,
you
and
can't
I
ask me a
just want
question.
a
You
quick
can't ask
answer.
me a question. I don't want you to ask me.
I just want a quick answer.
No.
Well, yes, that would typical Green Party member over here, but that's
Go
okay.
ahead.
We can't answer questions, but I'll still ask it. Whether you want to answer it, it's okay. But I'll ask it, right? So you're saying that need more money in public transport. So if you're looking at the transport plan for it, what would your alternative be to what they've done? What would you do differently?
I think it's just to me personally, it was very not vindictive. What's the word? Spiteful. I mean, if you remember at the start of the start of its tenure when we had the Daily Divide, that's the Stone Ages back then. I called it the spiteful government because they kept cutting out things that just if they saw Labor was made at IREX, they went, nah, we don't want that. And this is what it looks like to me. That especially for Simeon Brown being so on top of cycleways, it's really really weird to me because it would be a huge economic booster for local business if you can easily just go from your house to the local business in 5 minutes. Why would you need your car? Like, you don't need to spend as much on fuel. It would boost the economy. So that's my point. It's really really weird, and I'm not saying that my point.
Oh, you
We do
say
need to
it
spend on
boosts the
state
economy.
highways, but like we were already spending on cycleways to basically go. Absolutely not. We're getting rid of that. It's really, really spiteful and just so unmasking as to why they're doing it, if you get my drift. And the less goes for public transport, of course, because that has been a thing. And I do have to say, cycleways came in the John Key government. That started to come in. So it's not a Labour, it's not a Green idea. It obviously is a Green idea, but it came in during the national government of John Key. So I have to say that it's not a Labour thing.
I remember, yes.
So public transport less so,
No,
of
no,
course,
no.
but
I remember.
that's my point,
But
right?
the thing is, the thing is, right, is like it came in the John Key era, right? Absolutely. And I'm not saying that, like, I believe that they're a waste of money at the moment, but I'm not saying that we shouldn't have them. But I'm saying we shouldn't be spending money on them now because we don't.
Yeah,
The state highways are much more important. Get rid of the spending. They're not. They're not going to get rid of the cycleways. They're just not going to spend any more money on new ones.
that's the issue, right? I think down the line, and this reveals how short-minded
Up for you,
this
right?
this
They're not.
current this current. Sorry, I'll just finish this point. This current. I don't know if you froze, but I interjected, so I'm not trying to interrupt you. It's just that you froze, and I thought you stopped. But I just want to make this quick point. It's not that, right? It's the fact that it would be. It's the fact that it's so revealing that National is very not close-minded. Well, that as well, but short term has short term thinking within their own term and maybe the next term over. I'll get to that when we get to IREX. Um,
Yeah, well, I think we've
overall
discussed
down
this
the
at
line, it
length.
would be economically. Yeah, we'll move on, but I just want to make this final point. It would be economically beneficial to have cycleways. It will be economically beneficial down the line for people. It would bring them up economically if you had investing in public transport and cycleways, especially rail, intercity rail. Oh my god, I would love to see intercity rail. If we can beat the Australians who tried to do it, who kind of do have it, but it's not really that good anymore, and we can. I would love it. Intercity rail would be huge for the working class and middle
Mhm.
income families
But we
and
got to,
everyone.
yeah, well, we got to have the money to do it. So at the moment, I
Like
believe that we're doing the right thing. Don't worry, and I wouldn't worry too much about all this other stuff like cycleways. You know, we have them later on when we actually got some money. Public transport when we got some money, right?
I
All
do have to
good.
say this
Let's just do
really
what
really
they're
quickly. Sorry, I do have to say
doing.
this really really quickly.
I believe.
You froze, so I was just waiting if you. Okay. God, you can't. I just want to say this really, 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 really quickly. I don't understand why, like the whole idea. So obviously we touched on public-private partnerships last podcast. This would be a really good opportunity to involve local business in cycleways and lesser extent public transport, and have an extra funding boost, because that would be hugely helpful, I would say, to local business in local communities, especially in smaller places like Levin and those towns, Otago and all that. It would be hugely beneficial to them, but especially to the big cities in New Zealand. So that's my whole point, and the fact that they closed it is so unmasking. But we'll move on. Leave your thoughts on it. And it's going to be very divided, and I don't think it should be a political issue, but it is. Oh, sorry. There was a thought that I was going to
thoughts on
make.
it in the comments,
Yeah,
and yeah,
leave it. Yeah, leave thoughts in the comments and all that stuff. We'll set up a poll as always. But I really want to make a
yeah,
small
we'll
point.
leave that at that.
It really sucks. Climate change should not be a political issue, and the fact that it is really really disappointing. But like the fact that when I say it's green and you go, well, that's what you would say, it's just really depressing as to why how the political landscape has gone, not here but globally. Just wanted to say that. Next thing on is
Yeah, yeah. I'm not gonna. I'm not.
the the next order of business is the IREX kerfuffle. I like to call it. I call it a kerfuffle because it's fun to say and it isn't as depressing as it actually is. So IREX, if you don't know, was the penned name for the new ships, two ships, if I remember correctly. That was a $500 billion deal with $500 billion deal with Hyundai in South Korea. It was revealed that they cancelled, the national, of course, cancelled the deal and all the shitstorm that came with it. And it was revealed that they cancelled it by sending a text to the South Korean ambassador, sending two texts saying that they're cancelling the deal earlier in the tender before they announced it. So that was fun, recognizing that. And the reason why I brought it up is because I think it's really important, especially with the new infrastructure plan that we talked about beforehand. And none of that funding's going towards that, which is a part of State Highway 1, in my opinion, and a lot of other people's opinion on it. Specifically, I watched, and the other thing is that I watched. I don't know if you know who they are, Doc Studios podcast on it, and they were speaking on about it, and it kind of inspired me that we should probably mention this because it is important, and it was in the back of my head, but I didn't think it would be that important because it's not um, up to date, if the correct terminology is. I know your thoughts on it. I want to see if you strayed from it because we haven't really talked about it in a while. But I'll add a few caveats into it, but I just wanted to leave it to you because I've been speaking for a bit and I need to catch my breath. What is your
So
overall
what's the
thoughts?
question?
From start to finish. What are your thoughts on IREX? Because I literally told you, I don't know if you know this. The cut was revealed in a text to the ambassador. Again, spiteful government. They saw Labour and went, No, it's too much money. Without revealing, of course, sorry, without revealing, I don't know if you know this, a lot of the bloated budget came from the new port upgrades. That was much needed, and in turn, in the long term, would economically benefit New Zealand. But they don't talk about that because that's too long term, and they need to get back into government. I'll hand it over to you because I
Okay,
know your opinion on ferries, and I need it.
so the thing, so you're saying about do you know that? Okay, I'll ask you a question just as I'm
Don't say, "Oh, it's too
speaking.
much
I
money.
just
We
want to
don't have
ask
any
you a
money."
question.
That's boring.
No, 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 no. I want to
Boring.
ask you a question about the new ports, right?
Yeah.
Do
Well,
you
they're not new ports. They're like the upgrade, the refits.
know?
Sorry, you're frozen.
Do you know?
Sorry, you're frozen. Just repeat your
I'm
thought.
talking. I'm talking about the ports. Yeah, yeah. Sorry, you froze as well. The new ports. Do you know why they were going to put them in?
Yes. Well,
You,
no,
do
well,
you actually know why they were going to? Okay,
yes, but
you
you
know
make
why they're going to put them in, right?
yeah,
Which is what?
because of the new ferries and then capacity and the railway. The new ferries have got railway capacity, if I remember correctly, and that's why they needed it. Yes.
Well, that already has. We already actually Inter-Island already have rail capacity, right?
Yes, but that was part
So,
of the reason, wasn't it?
well, yes and no, but the actual reason was, and this is why they probably didn't want to spend the money, was because actually the existing ports that they have are too small for the ferries that were designed,
That too. Yeah.
and that is why probably, I don't know, but that is probably why they actually wanted to cancel that, because not only you're building ferries that are too big to even go into where they're supposed
Make your point again because you're
to go
frozen.
into, actually get in there. Okay, so basically, right, the ports were too small for these new ferries.
Hmm.
Inter-Island already has rail capacity with one of the ferries, the Aratiri, right?
Yeah.
So, which yes, maybe we need a bit more, but we still have rail capacity. And I'm not saying that we totally we need new ferries. They're they're pretty old. They're old, they're old. But I don't. I think it was the cost of it was getting blown out far too much. Not only are you building the ferries for ungodly amounts of money, then you have to build new infrastructure to actually allow them to get into where they're supposed to get into. They, how much money is going into that. I'm not saying we shouldn't have new ferries built, but I'm saying it needs to be rethought, because you're spending millions and millions of dollars to build a new port just for them to park, basically, so then they can get in there, right? And then you're building the new ferries on top. Two new ferries, two new ports. Too much money.
Okay. I'm not. I don't think you know, but you probably do know. I'm not an expert on boats. I don't know a lot about boats. Look cool. I've been on boats. They're pretty sweet.
You're
They can
frozen.
go up and down and bouncy. They're pretty cool. What I do know is these basic points. We invested $500 billion into this project, and it was an agreement. And as I don't think you know, Hyundai is very interlinked with South Korea. As what we have done by cancelling this deal would have greatly impacted relations with not only South Korea but with a lot of not only South Korea and Hyundai, but with a lot of investors or with a lot of shipbuilders that are looking at this and go, well, if they can't even, if they're going to just cancel this off of a whim, why would we even bother? So that's one, right? Two, right? If I'm looking at something that is greatly dilapidated, that hasn't been upgraded in decades, I look at it and go, right, we need a complete upfit. Sorry, not upfit, refit to everything. I want this system, I want this refit to last us decades more before we need to do it again. Right?
You just buy an existing ferry.
That's the problem, right?
It's new.
No. This is the issue, right? This investment, not only that, 500 billion, and including with some add-ons, of course, that have been uploaded. But what infrastructure project hasn't gone over budget everywhere across the world? I mean, you've got the if you don't know, the Amtrak high-speed rail connection in California has gone over budget. Funnily enough, and there's a lot of news guys who go, "Wow, this is ridiculous! It's going over budget." Blah 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 blah, without making any specification as to why it was. I'll leave it at that. While there is a new motorway or a new highway being built in the United States where it's going over budget and no one's talking about it. I'll bring it back to this point. Every infrastructure project goes over budget, but National doesn't care about that. This is again.
This is the thing, though.
Not only that, they've cancelled this deal. They will have to spend money by cancelling this deal because Hyundai will fight for their for money for their money back. They will have to spend hundreds of billions of dollars more for a new deal for ferries. And not only that, it's very likely, like you said, existing ferries.
Oh no,
you're probably wrong. It will probably not even. It will not last them as long as the existing ferries that were being invested in. So forgive me for rolling my eyes.
Here's the thing.
Well, we need stopgaps.
It's a stupid point. I gotta jump in. It's a stupid point, okay? Because
if you want to watch the bonus content on the IREX discussion, just click here. Be sure to subscribe and leave a comment down below. We greatly appreciate your thoughts and opinions.